Oh boy, let me guess, more from Joshua? Yes sir, the genocides just keep coming. Fantastic, who's getting annihilated next? The city of Ai. You remember, they were the ones God was using as his tool to punish the Israelites for Achan's sin? How could I forget? Now, they were fulfilling God's will when they inflicted the 36 deaths. Yes. And now God wants them exterminated? Yep. Savage. So does God have the Holy Horde do that whole thing to bring down the city walls like he did with Jericho? Oh, nope. That technique is never used again. Oh. Well, how about putting the dread of the Israelites into the people of Ai so that their courage fails them in battle? Nope. God doesn't use that extremely effective psyops technique either. Huh. Well, maybe God could blind the people of Ai like he did with the wicked men of Sodom and Gomorrah. That would make them such easy pickings. Look, I'm going to need you to get all the way off my back about God's ridiculous inconsistency with his magical battle spells. Okay, sure, let me get off that thing. Great. So what does Field Marshal Yahweh have planned for Ai? He has Josh sneak 5,000 of his men behind the city to lie in wait for an ambush. How do you sneak 5,000 men anywhere near a city? Aren't there scouts and civilians and caravans going to and fro all around it? Don't worry about it. Oh, okay, I won't. So the main force of 25,000 shows itself to Ai, and Ai's army pours out to meet them in battle. Oh boy. And they're thinking they're going to kick Israelite butt again like they did that first time. Oh, kicking butt is tight. I'll allow it, and every single soldier leaves the city. What? Every soldier leaves? They don't leave behind a garrison? Nope. Well, okay then. So Josh has his main force retreat immediately from the onrushing soldiers of Ai as if they're scared. Wouldn't their sudden retreat signal to Ai that something isn't quite right? Hey, shut up. And once the soldiers of Ai are far enough away from their city, the Horde's ambush force comes out of hiding and rushes the walls. Aren't they going to have a hard time getting in without siege engines and catapults and the like? Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, Ai's army forgot to close the door behind them when they left or something because the city's wide open. Is that a joke? Nope, that is actually in here. Oh, wow. So they set the city aflame, and the smoke lets the Israelite main force know that it's time to turn around and attack the soldiers they've lured out of Ai. So how does that go? The Horde cuts them down to the last man. Fantastic. So yet again, the Israelites have a city full of civilians utterly at their mercy. Yep. Do they give these helpless non-combatants the chance to follow the one true God, abundant in mercy and grace? Nope, they just hack them all to death in the usual way. Well, okay then. Except for one man. Oh, what's this guy's story? It's the king of Ai. Instead of being hacked to death, he's impaled. Ugh, what an absolutely horrific death. Or he's hung on a tree. It's very unclear. Either way, what did he do to warrant the special treatment? No one else has had this done to them. There's nothing in here about that at all. Huh. So yeah, they take his body off the pole at sundown and throw it down at the city gates, and that completes the annihilation of Ai. Oh, what a holy, godly day this was. Yeah. What's next? The Gibeonite Deception. The Gibeonite Deception. That sounds like the title of a Robert Ludlum novel. Pardon me? So who are the Gibeonites? Gibeon is a large city not too far from where the Israelites are conducting their genocide tour. Okay, and its inhabitants can see the writing on the wall that most everyone ends up on the to be annihilated list at some point or other. That's the one. So they hatch a little plan. Ah, the deception. Yep. They dress in old clothes and load their donkeys with worn-out sacks and cracked wineskins. Why? To make it look like they've come from far away. What is that supposed to accomplish? They figure that the Israelites will leave them alone if they think Gibeon is far enough away to not be considered a threat. Gotcha. But couldn't God or even some locals just clue Josh in that Gibeon is right down the road? I mean, this thing falls apart if you apply even a modicum of scrutiny. Oh yeah, I'll add a line that the Horde doesn't request any intel from God on this point. Why? So the plot can happen. Well, okay then. So the Horde makes a peace treaty with the Gibeonites, taking them at their word that they don't live anywhere close by. Okie dokie. But then, just a few days later, the Israelites find out that they aren't from far away. But that, in fact, Gibeon is quite close by. Oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming. And Josh asks Gibeon, why did you lie to us? And they say, because we thought you were going to kill us if you knew we lived nearby. You know what I just realized? What? This is kind of a dumb story. You think? I mean, this ruse had no hope in hell of fooling anybody for long. True, it really sounds more like a silly trickster folktale that somehow got fleshed out into a Bible story. Is there at least some epic finale? Nope, nothing like that. Despite it being ratified under false pretenses, the Horde honors its treaty with Gibeon. But they lied straight to their faces. Yeah, despite that, Josh is scared that God will smite them if they attack Gibeon at this point. Oh, celestial jurisprudence is so arbitrary and nonsensical. Some might say it's subtle and nuanced. Would they, though? They would. So, Gibeon is allowed to exist, but from now on they're basically just slave labor for the Israelites. So they sold themselves out to save their cowardly hides? Yeah, that's what they did. At the beginning of this book, Rahab sold out her own people to save her own miserable hide, and you held her up to be some kind of hero. Yes. So when Gibeon sells itself out, are they extolled as being virtuous in a similar way? No. Nope, they're nothing special apparently. Interesting. They do end up being the focal point for some more genocides though. In what way? 5 local kings are quite alarmed to see a large city like Gibeon allied with God's horde. Understandable. So these 5 nations combine their forces for an attack. Oh no. And Gibeon asks the horde to rescue them. Horde. And God tells Josh to tear these guys a new asshole. You should probably word that a bit more delicately. And God tells Josh he's given these 5 kingdoms over to Israel for utter destruction. There it is. So the horde just butchers these guys, and God helps out too. Oh, what's God's contribution? He throws the 5 armies into confusion, and he brings down a hailstorm. A hailstorm, eh? What's the point of that? Is it some sort of distraction? The hail actually kills more people than the Israelites. What the heck? Deadly hailstorms are a thing? God could just pulverize the horde's foes with absolute impunity. Apparently. Well, why doesn't he? It feels like you're getting up onto my back again about the battle spells. Sorry. So what happens next? Josh asks God to make the sun stand still for some reason. Sure, that might as well happen. Does it affect the proceedings in any way? Not particularly. Wow. And then they kill the 5 kings after first taking time to step on their necks. Nice. And honestly, the rest of Joshua is just pretty much more of the same till the end. War, genocide, death. Yep, about 30 more genocides, and then a few chapters describing how the conquered lands are divvied up. Wow, it's hard to believe more of these kingdoms didn't wise up and sue for peace like the Gibeonites did. Obviously, the Israelites are an unstoppable juggernaut at this point. Well, if any of them were smart enough to do that, God probably squashed the idea immediately. Is he hardening hearts again to guarantee conflict? He's hardening hearts again to guarantee conflict. Oh, hardening hearts to guarantee conflict is tight. Yeah. It'd be nice to end the book of Joshua with something that captures the inevitability of all this. How do you mean? How do you express the depressing pointlessness of resisting an entity that holds all the cards? We need a passage that acknowledges when you've been swept up into something beyond your power and beyond reason. It would help people understand why Rahab and Gibeon would make their deals with cruel, violent barbarians. Exactly. And that you can pay lip service to choosing an alternate path, but only in the certainty that any alternate path you choose is doomed. When might makes right seems to be the implicit motto of your adversary. When right and wrong don't even factor into the equation anymore. You might be on the winning team, but at the cost of your humanity. Now, you're just at the point of trying to survive this implacable force, as to defy it leads only to death. It's an unconditional surrender. The realization that there simply is no choice. I think I've got it. The Gibeonite Deception? That sounds like the title of a Robert Ludlum